Hi, I'm Vicki Payne. You know, Sloan and I are having so much fun decorating the Susan G. Coleman Dream House this season on For Your Home.
That's right, and today we're going to head to the second floor where we're going to be tackling the media room and a second floor powder room.
And then we're going to get our hands a little dirty doing some indoor gardening, so we hope you'll join us today on For Your Home.
For Your Home is made possible by
Andersen Hardwood, committed to producing distinctive, environmentally responsible hardwood flooring while helping to create a better planet for today and tomorrow. For more information, go to andersenfloors.com. Andersen, naturally.
and by Ames. Ames True Timber has offered innovative landscape products since 1774, providing non-powered lawn and garden tools, wheelbarrows and lawn carts, watering products and decorative accessories, including planters. And by Riverside Furniture.
This beautiful light-filled room is the heart of the second floor. A stone fireplace with a clean, white farmhouse mantel and built-in bookcases sets the tone for the space. The built-ins also provide room for a large flat-screen TV and all the components needed to turn this room into the perfect room for entertainment. We'll need to add some great seating and maybe just for fun, a piano and some folk art. A half bath is conveniently located just to the right of this room.
On the blueprint, the builder refers to this space as the media room, but Mom and I like to think of it as more than just a media room. We like to think of it as a casual family gathering room.
You know, this room has a real casual look to it. And when we first started out, it was just a big old open room. And now it's really starting to take shape. You know, the fireplace is the largest item, of course, in this room, so it really sets the stage. First of all, we've got this beautiful fieldstone that surrounds the fireplace and a matching hearth to go with it. Then as we work our way up, we have some great white woodwork trim, a nice generous sized mantel, and above it we have this kind of farmhouse paneling. It's a little bit bigger than beadboard that's going on up to our crown molding. So we're going to actually use this as our inspiration for this room. And as Sloan said, it's a place where the family can all kind of gather and relax. So we want to keep all of those things real user friendly. On this side, we've got a great set of bookshelves, and the bookshelves are going to be perfect because we've got space to store games, video games, as well as board games perhaps below here. Great place to store books and reference materials, and because our pretend family is so into original art, we think some folk art on this will tie in perfectly with this farmhouse motif.
The media for this room is actually going to be our entertainment, and by that we mean our entertainment center right here, which is going to house our flat screen television. We also have plenty of storage below for all of our AV equipment and components can go down here. And then, of course, storage up top for all those favorite family movies. Now, there's another type of entertainment that the family themselves are actually going to provide for themselves, and that is with a wonderful concert piano. But if they don't feel like entertaining the family, all the parents have to do is press a button and they can listen to any kind of song they want. It actually plays itself.
Wait a minute, you tell me that the piano that you've selected for this room can play itself?
Yes, it's very cool.
I didn't know they had those kind of pianos.
Wait till you see it, but you know what? You can't see anything until we get the furniture up in here.
That's right, so hey guys, bring that furniture on up. Artwork is the perfect way to set the stage in any room. take a look at these paintings that Sloan and I found. They're all original artwork. The farm scenes, the cattle, the colors, they just couldn't work better. But here's my favorite part of this room. These beautiful chairs. They are real contemporary, and remember we're doing everything traditional with contemporary flair. They're beautiful, rich red colors. I love them. We're going to put 4 in a conversation area. Right in the middle, we have a big round ottoman that's going to be delivered later today, and it's out of this rich tapestry fabric. And that will be perfect because an ottoman allows you to either put your feet up and relax or set a tray on it and use it for serving. But here's the best part about these gorgeous red leather chairs. They swivel. Can you believe this? I love it. It's perfect. I can twirl around, watch TV from this direction, turn back, chat with my friends, or listen to that great piano play a great tune.
We all know that when it comes to decorating and designing, it's not all about the color, it's also about the texture too. We're standing in the half bathroom on the 2nd floor that's just off of the media room, and Mom and I are trying to decide what we wanted to do in here. We didn't want to do a wallpaper, we wanted something a little bit more inviting, something more unique like a faux finish perhaps. Well, our good friend Janet Marsh is here with some samples for me. I'm so excited, Janet.
Yes, Sloan.
This is great.
Well, thank you. Now, before we get started, I want to let you know that these are just samples of techniques. We can tweak the color to anything you want.
Okay, so we're just looking at texture and techniques today.
Absolutely.
And the colors are going to be custom for this room.
Exactly.
All right, this is fabulous. This is really a dramatic, heavy texture.
Very heavy texture. We trowel on heavy stucco, then we do a little bit of combing through it and put a full overlay. That's what gives it the sparkle.
Gorgeous, but I think a little too dramatic for in here.
A little heavy.
Okay, this I'm loving because this reminds me of like a patina and a variegated copper, an aged look to it.
Exactly.
Lots of sheen too and some crackle as well.
This is a reactive metal, so it really is one of a kind. Whenever you put the activator on, it tells you what it's going to give you. I mean,
all right, so this takes over a mind of its own.
Exactly.
So maybe we need to be a little bit more predictable.
A little bit more predictable.
Okay, this is gorgeous. How this is lovely. Very dramatic. I love the depth, and the sheen is phenomenal.
The sheen is, I think, one of the key things about this technique. Whenever you put this on, it gives you depth, but it's not tactile. So it's something that's very good for a lot, if somebody doesn't want a heavy texture.
This is beautiful. Okay, now this I think is where we're going to have to go. Yes. Someday a family is going to move into this home. So this is sort of a safe faux finish.
Yes.
I mean, if there is one, I think this is a really safe one. I love this one. Let's take a look though, because we obviously are going to have to take into consideration our main piece of furniture, which is our cabinet in here. And the countertops aren't in yet. But we need to match this up to this, or need it to complement this at least,
no problem. Yes.
Okay, so then for this is more pink, so we would maybe add in some more brown.
If you watch the first episode of this our original art in that space. So a few years ago, I saw a piece like this in a gallery, and I always remembered it and wanted to create it. So I asked our Finnish carpenter, Rick, he built all the cabinetry in the house, if he would create this table for me. So it's made out of birch wood, and it has cedar legs, and he did a great job, and I think it's going to be perfect for what we want. Now, I took the fabric swatches from the room that we're working with. This is the red leather chairs, that beautiful rich red leather, and then this is the fabric that's on the ottoman. It's that great tapestry look, and went to the home improvement store, checked out the stain chart. But I just went along and selected one of the reds, a couple of the yellows, some of the different greens, and ended up with 6 great colors. Take a look at what I'm talking about. This was what I chose. These are all going to tie in beautifully with the colors we're using in that space. Bright, bright, bright. And a little mellow to kind of tone it down here and there. The other thing that I did was pick up a couple of packages of these foam paint brushes. Now when you're working with water-based, you want to use synthetic paint brushes or foam brushes, not your natural bristles, because the water in this will swell up natural bristles and it'll be really hard to control. So always remember that, synthetic for water-based. Okay, now before I put any of these stains on, I went ahead and did a light sanding on the chest. Then I put some preconditioner on it. Now don't ever go in and put stain directly on wood without doing a preconditioner, because it'll be all blotchy looking and you won't be happy at all. Now the fun part about this project is we don't need a pattern. We don't need to draw any lines out because it's original art, and we want to see the hand of the artist on this piece. It's another way for saying if I make a mistake, I'm not going to worry about it. Now in those brushes, I selected different sizes. So the first size the color I'm going to start with is this bright mustard yellow here. And by selecting different size of brushes, I can just come along with my stripes and use this to be the guideline. Now, I'm going to dip this in and I want to get a lot of paint on it. Let it soak up really well, because I don't want to run out of paint as I go. Now, let it just kind of drain down to the end, and then I'm going to take my paper towel and kind of blot off the little extra so it doesn't drip. Starting right here, I'm just going to put this down and just come right on up that wood. Okay? Come right back over it to get any of the drips that I have. All right? Now, I'm going to come to the back and do the same thing. And working with these paint brushes and just using them for the width that they are is going to help me line it up. Now I'm going to come across the top. Isn't that a great color? Look at that, that just pops right off of there. And that's what I wanted. It's got to be a fun piece. Okay, now came back, we lined it right up, check to make sure you don't have any runs. And that's why we wanted that to be wet, perfect. Now, I'm going to use this rich red color that I have here, this cinnamon, as my accent color because of the red leather chairs in that room. I'm not going to put that on yet because I want it to be crisp. I don't want it to bleed into the other colors. So I'm going to use a very small brush for that. So I'm just going to lay that brush there so I know how wide that stripe is going to be. And I'm going to go over to this great kind of terracotta color I have here, and I'm just going to dip that in, wipe that off, come back, blot it, and now keeping that width the way I want it, I'm going to start here. I'm going to come right up this piece. This is so much fun, and don't think you want to have straight lines. That's not the name of the game here. Could have used a little more stain on this as I went, but that's okay. All right, now dipping it back in here, blot it a little bit. I'm going to come up the back, leaving that same amount of space again, right on up. And if you wiggle a little, that's just fine. Line back up and head out across the top of my bench. Now, once I get this whole bench done, completely covered, all my stripes and everything on it, then I'm just going to come back and put a couple of coats of polyacrylic on this that will help me get all of it sealed in, a nice protective coat on it. And there, that's all I'm going to have to do with it, and it's going to be a wonderful piece for our media room. You want to check every once in a while with a carpenter square to be sure that your stripes are still at a right angle to your piece. Isn't this piece just so much fun?
I may not always love digging outside in the dirt, but one thing I do enjoy doing is container gardening. So I'd like to share with you a little bit of container gardening that you can actually bring inside your home. We're going to replant some house plants. It's a perfect container gardening project for you. You're going to do it just like you would do your plants outside. You're going to start with a nice pot. You do want to make sure that you have proper drainage in your pot. And just a side note, if you're going to be setting this on your floor, make sure that you have something underneath it to catch the water for the drainage. We're going to start with a regular potting soil mix, just a nice, healthy, good mix. And, of course, our house plant. Now, this one here, you can take a look at it. It's really a nice plant. Got great color. Like I said, this is a wonderful way to add color and texture to any room. And added benefit, it also adds oxygen to your space. So you're just going to wiggle it right out of your pot. I like to do this project out in the driveway, just like you would your container gardening. Slide that pot off. And we're just going to loosen that dirt up just a little bit and set this into our pot. Now you'll notice that I've set this down just a couple of inches from the top. You want to just go ahead and start filling this in with your potting soil all the way around. Like I said, this is just container gardening, but for the indoors. Once you get this filled in with dirt, you could top it off with some nice Spanish moss and dress the top of our pot, just gives it a nicer look. For our media room, we have selected 3 different kinds of houseplants. Love the mix of texture and colors, and it's the perfect way for us to anchor the corner of our room.
Creating a seating pattern in a room that doesn't include TV can sometimes be challenging. You really want to create an area where people can maybe have a conversation. My guest today, Amy Archer, has some really nice, new, interesting ideas about how you can use furniture to create a conversation. Hey Amy, how you doing? I can't think of anybody I'd rather sit and have a conversation with than you.
Thank you, Vicki. It's nice to be here.
In this room, we used 4 red leather chairs to create a seating area, and they're swivels so that we can turn them around and watch TV if we wanted to. But we really wanted to have a conversation area. What are you seeing new in creating that setting?
Well, first, I love the movement today where people are wanting to get closer to each other. I think that's a big step because we've been so focused on just media. And one of the things that is going on today in people's lives, they're saying, how can we spend more time tuning into each other and less time just reflecting on the TV?
Exactly.
So one thing I totally love is there's a new seating coming up that's extra, extra deep. So if you imagine like we're sitting right now, double that. And what you do is it can be just like a double deep sofa. So this could be an intimate spot. So a conversation for just 2 people. It is
curl up right into there.
Totally a barefoot seating. Pull your legs up, read, talk to each other. It's a cuddle spot. It's a reflective spot, but it's a time where you can really be together. And that's a beautiful way to kind of interact. People still want to be comfortable, and I get that. But one of the big things happening today is that they're asking just for much more innovation in seating. And there's some beautiful new designs that really explore that. One of my most favorite you're going to see here. And what it has is this just a little bit of a firmer seating, so you're not disappearing and sinking in, so you're still kind of upright, but the cushions in the back are plump, so you can still kind of have this great grace when you're leaning back into it. But one of the most innovative things today is when you can sit 360 degrees around the sectional. Now that's something super special.
So that
totally
would float
different.
right in the middle of a room.
Float, and you could literally be sitting in one place, almost if you can kind of fathom hotel seating, where people can come from different angles around it. So we could take an ottoman, float it under the arm on one angle where they can be kind of the arms separating you, but you're still dialoguing. We could take the same frame, the same ottoman, put it to the back of the piece. And so now there's literally, there could be different conversational groups all centered around this one item.
So you're really customizing all of these pieces to fit your room shape and to fit your own needs as a family.
Super special, super sexy, keeps everyone integrated together. Just even if you kind of want to be on your own, you can be, but your inclination is to lean over and talk to someone.
And I love the arm coming in the middle of the sectional.
What a cool day today when the arm really interrupts the frame. So you can lean against it from two sides. It's just a really innovative concept. So I love that for seating, and love that for exploring conversation.
Well, you know, you always bring to us new ideas and new ways to think of things, and I think these new sectionals that we're looking at is one way that we can kind of shake up our decisions when we're out there buying furniture and looking at it the old way. So thank you, Amy. I knew you'd just be giving me some new thoughts for another room I've got to design here at the show house.
Thank you. We're going to call it conversectionals. It's a new word. Run with it.
I heard it today. Yeah. You heard it here. Coming up next, a classic FYH decorating tip.
If you have a bare spot in your garden that could use a touch of color, why not try adding an annual vine? Take a look at these two beautiful clematis vines. Aren't they gorgeous? Nice hardy growth on them. The only problem is the vines from the nursery will cost you about $20 to $30 a piece. So I'm going to show you a great money-saving tip where you can actually grow vines yourself, and it's a fun project to do with your kids. Okay, now last season, the end of the fall, we went ahead and harvested some seeds from our vines, and we're going to be doing a couple of seeds today in what they call a peat greenhouse. The greenhouse comes with a little lid. Don't throw this away. You need to keep this. Inside, there's little peat pellets. When we add warm water to them, you're going to see that the water just starts to absorb right in the pellets. Now, once these expand and the water is absorbed in them, go ahead and pour off the excess water, and what you're going to be left with is a nice full pellet like this. Now, all we have to do is poke a little hole in the top of our pellet, and you're going to want to place 2 to 3 seeds at a time in each pellet. Now, don't get discouraged if they don't take off, and some will germinate faster than others. You're just going to tuck that down and then make sure the peat covers right back over it, and place it in, and then put your lid on it. Now, you want to be sure that you place this in a spot where it's going to get sunlight, but not direct sunlight. We don't want these to burn up, because remember, these are just tiny little babies. Now, you're going to have to sacrifice one of your plants. Don't worry about it, but you can see we've got one that's budding up here and one that's pretty strong and hardy. There's not going to be enough room for both of these, so go ahead and just nip it off with your fingernail. And at this point, you're going to want to take this and put it right into a pot with some potting soil. And this isn't an ordinary pot, this is actually another peat pot, and this is great because it's biodegradable. So you're going to be able to just set this right into the ground. Now remember, once you get more growth on this, you're going to want to make sure that you add a great piece of bamboo or something for your vine to grow right up. So see, there you go. You've got your own hardy vine at a fraction of the cost and with a lot of fun.
We started with a wide open room filled with lights and lots of great built-in storage space. The fireplace with its farmhouse mantle was the inspiration for the room. Our goal was to create a relaxing, creative environment that the entire family could enjoy. We selected wall-to-wall carpet with a neutral plaid pattern for the floors. The walls were painted a pale ivory to match the linen drapes. A black distressed server was added for additional storage space for games and movies. The tortoiseshell lamps present a warm, inviting glow. Our seating area is comprised of 4 red leather chairs. The tapestry ottoman is much more versatile than a traditional coffee table and adds wonderful texture and pattern. For additional seating, we added a bistro table and chairs. Our family is very musical, so we had to include this amazing concert piano. My folk art bench provides a splash of color and additional seating. The sculptures, the art glass, and the paintings are all fun and whimsical. The artwork is everywhere, and it really ties the room together. We also had another room to decorate, and that was the guest bathroom. A beautiful terracotta faux finish gave a warm glow and texture to the walls. We added a custom vanity, some beautiful artwork, and another room is ready for a show house tour.
Mom, that bench turned out so good. I think you should sign it though, because it really looks like a piece of art in here.
Well, thank you, honey. I'm real happy with the way it turned out, and it goes great with the rest of the art we're using. You know, speaking of happy, Amy Archer always makes me happy with her great ideas for seating.
And her great energy. Next time on For Your Home, we are going to head out to the gardens, because at a show house, it's not just important what's on the inside, it's the outside that counts too.
So make it a date to join us on For Your Home.
If you would like additional information about today's guests or project ideas, please visit us on the web at foryourhome.com. We will do our best to help you out. For Your Home is made possible by
Shaw Floors offers distinctive flooring options to fit a variety of decors. Shaw strives to have a positive impact on the environment by producing recyclable products like Anso nylon carpets and Epic hardwoods. Shaw, where great floors begin.
and by Ames. Ames True Timber has offered innovative landscape products since 1774, providing non-powered lawn and garden tools, wheelbarrows and lawn carts, watering products and decorative accessories, including planters. And by Riverside Furniture.